Hello, and you are very welcome to this week's episode of Cut Through the Noise with me, Aisling O'Rourke. Cut Through the Noise is the podcast that helps you elevate your brand with clear and concise communication and some excellent marketing tips thrown in to boot. This is series 5 of the podcast. So if you're new here, please do feel free to hit that follow button on your preferred podcast app and go back and check out our back catalogue. We have been on the air since last March, and we've had some really interesting podcast episodes and guests along the way. So there's plenty there for you to binge listen to. In this series, we are talking about podcasting and specifically why podcasting is a useful marketing tool for people in business. And of course, in the last 18 months or so, the world has come alive with conversations around AI, artificial intelligence. And the thing with podcasting is that if you're not tech savvy, the thoughts of starting a podcast can be quite daunting because it's a technical thing to do. You have to be able to talk, yes, and speak clearly and know what your messaging is, but also what kit do you need? What location do you need? There's a lot to think about. And sometimes that can put people off. So today we're going to talk about what tools we might use that artificial intelligence has given us to help make the podcasting journey all that bit easier. And to do that, we are joined by the wonderful Maryrose Lyons of the AI Institute. Maryrose, you are very welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Aisling.
So first things first, Maryrose, what exactly is the AI Institute?
Well, it is an AI institute that I set up to deliver AI courses for everyone. I feel very passionately that we need to embrace this. It is like the Industrial Revolution. We're going from horses to trains. We're doing this in a digital sense, and you just don't have the option to decide you're going to sit on horses any longer. So I set it up to bring AI courses for everyone, and it's really evolved so that now we're working with a lot of larger companies, and we're really looking at kind of process engineering, coaching and training their staff to not just how to use the AI tools, but how to change the way they work thanks to AI. So it's very exciting.
Now, I know a lot of people, particularly it's about 18 months ago that ChatGPT became a global phenomenon that we know about. Thereabouts.
2 years at the end of November.
2 years. Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. That time has flown. But I know at the time, Maryrose, and you probably saw it as well, a lot of people were very panicked about it. You know, is AI going to steal our jobs and all of that? And my approach to it has always been, well, there's that famous song, Video Killed the Radio Star, and we still have millions of people listening to the radio every single day.
Exactly.
So my stance on things is not to panic. Let's learn about it. Let's figure out how it works and see, can it be of benefit? And people listening to this might be wondering, yeah, okay, but what's it got to do with podcasting? So Maryrose and I have been working over the past number of weeks on Chatting GPT. It's the new podcast for the AI Institute, and it's all about AI. And if you're interested in that, I highly recommend that you check out Chatting GPT on your preferred podcast player. So I wanted to talk to Maryrose about her podcasting journey and the AI tools that have proven useful there. So Maryrose, where did you start when it came to podcasting? Because podcasting is not your area of expertise.
It is certainly not in my area of expertise, as you know. I'd been told by many people over the years, oh, you'd be great on a podcast because I have a voice. And I was like, no. My fear was that I would go down the route of being one of those 8 episodes and gone. Mm-hmm. Then I got support from you, and you were showing me the way. And now I feel much more confident about it, which is brilliant. I suppose before I would have been wary because I would have been afraid of the amount of work after, build it, they will come, doesn't happen. So the amount of work that happens, in terms of after you've done the recording, how you chop it up for social, promoting it out on social, getting it out on email, putting it onto your website, like all of that kind of stuff.
That all takes time, doesn't it? And if this is not your, it's all right if you want to become a full-time podcaster. You have the time to train, to go to college, to learn how to do these things. But if you're doing this as part of a marketing exercise for your company,
Mm.
It's not the full 40 hours a week. You're trying to get this done in a nice condensed and really efficiently. So where did you start when it came to figuring out what AI tools would be helpful?
Well, I kind of knew a lot of the tools that would be helpful because I'm part of my job as being the main course creator is being on top of all of the Gen AI tools as they come. Why did I decide that now is the time for us to go into it, however, is because we advocate a lot around, like to your point about people being worried about their jobs being taken.
Mm-hmm.
Most people know now that their jobs aren't going to be taken by AI, at least not in the short to medium term. It's actually about somebody else who is using AI might take your job from you. So, what we advocate and we put forward in all of our training is that we show people how to become better versions of themselves. We show people how to do the good bits even better and how to get rid of all the crappy, drossy bits that they no longer want to do. And I always ask the question, so Aisling, what are you going to do with all this time that you save? And we have to meaningfully think about what we're going to do at that time. So, because we are a startup, I decided that now is the time to do a podcast because we are saving time ourselves by practicing what we preach and doing a lot of this AI stuff ourselves in our own business. So, I have all this extra free time in my team that I decided would be well spent on investing in a podcast. And boy, has it paid off, even after just one series.
And it's wonderful to hear you say that because I know there was a learning curve there.
Oh, yes. There was a few Sunday night texts to Aisling going, Aisling, what am I going to do?
And we're always happy to help. Okay, always happy to help. But then, okay, so you mentioned it, like, okay, what do you use to? So, like, let's go back to basics. So, when you started this off, you're using Riverside to record your
Correct.
podcast. So, why did
Yes.
you decide to go with Riverside?
We looked at several tools and Riverside I'll tell you what it was. Riverside had a thing in it where you can record an ad of yourself that you can insert into all of your episodes back and current. And I like that idea because as we have new courses coming, we might do a little ad saying, hey, there's a course coming up soon. Or I'll do it in a very unsalesy way that you taught me. Hi, it's Maryrose here. Just wondering if you'd like to join our course. So that was one of the things because I liked the idea of being able to update all of our episodes at scale backwards.
Okay.
Price wise, it seemed okay. And then I did a bit of research in terms of reviews and kind of what influencers and creators are using it. And it seemed to be quite well regarded.
Okay, so we have the platform that you're going to record your interviews with and your solo pieces as well. And then we've recorded the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Snippets. Snippets.
exactly, yeah. And like
Yeah.
you're
How could
looking
you
at
do snippets manually?
I know from an audio perspective because radio is my original background. Like we would argue in radio broadcasting that for every minute of audio that you record, it takes 4 minutes to edit. Okay, for every
Right.
minute, that's
Wow.
4 minutes. Never mind editing video, you're at least tripling that. So you're looking at these podcast creators, and I'm sure many listeners who are considering this as their business and going, yeah, that's great and all, Aisling, but I don't have a video editor and I don't have a budget for a video editor. And a video editor is pricey. And
Mhm.
we're all over social media. We see clips or snippets, as you've called them.
Mm.
So these are, and I use them myself to promote Cut Through the Noise. You use them to promote Chatting GPT. So these are video clips of portions of the episode.
Yeah.
And then you want to make sure you're getting the right clip, the one that might go viral, the one that might be trendy or SEO friendly. So, what do you use to help you with that? Because that in itself could take hours.
Well, here's a little workaround. So, like in our courses, we have a whole section in the marketing course all about repurposing content. And there are several tools that I've tested and curated and recommend there. So, for example, you'd have Opus clips in there. You would have Descript and you'd also have repurpose.io. However, so what their promise, they would repurpose, their promise is that you can upload a piece of video and you can say your destination for it. So if you say it's going to be TikTok, it will select the clips or the snippets that would be more suited to TikTok, as opposed to I want to put it out on LinkedIn and then it'll select the clips for LinkedIn. Now, That's all very well. However, what we found over the last 8 weeks, because we've just finished our first season, is that we were using Riverside to make the snippets. It didn't always do as good. It picked the best ones that we would have liked. So what we started doing instead was we took the transcript, and for anyone listening, if you see the word transcript, always take the transcript, because you can do amazing things with AI and transcripts. So what we did was took the transcript down, brought it over into ChatGPT, and we said, here is our persona of our audience. What bits of this would be the most interesting thing to them? So we got ChatGPT to tell us the snippet, and then we just went back and we cut them out manually because we weren't liking the quality of what we're getting from Riverside. So then we took it out of there and we brought it over to capsule.video. Shout out to Capsule. I love capsule.video. And literally, like when you talk about videographers, my VA spent, I think, 3.5 hours doing something at the start of this year. And I was like, what exactly was the task you were doing? And she was doing it manually. And I was like, are you not using Capsule? I'd forgotten to brief in my own team to use the tool that I recommend. So now we use Capsule. So you literally upload the video, give it a second to load, and then you can take out all the jump cuts by pressing one button. And then you can add B-roll by literally highlighting text and pressing to the B-roll. You can add in your own branded captions and inserts and excerpts and so on. Here's me sounding like I know what I'm talking about, but you can do all of that. Like I'd say it took us about 15 minutes per snippet. Hit export, share it to LinkedIn. Happy days.
And it's such, and like I'm a Capsule user, Capsule.video, is it? Yeah.
Yes.
User as well. And I really like it. I also use Opus clips or Opus clips. And I find like that with Opus, you've got the option of doing your brand template in your brand colors. You've got your captions. I like Opus in particular because I come from the Midlands of Ireland and I have a soft Midland accent that I'm not particularly good at enunciating my T's. And the automated captions seem to need very little correction on Opus. So that cuts down a lot of time.
Very good.
And like with Opus, it will give you 10 videos out of one long, say if I give them the 15 minutes of this particular video recording, it will give me 10 videos, but it will rank them in,
I love that.
Most trendworthy or most SEO friendly. And like, these tools actually, they help us learn. It's not just about doing things quickly. It's about seeing what actually will work so that we can keep that in mind for future. What else might be helpful in terms of podcasting production and AI?
Well, funny when you say about the SEO friendly. Let me tell you a funny story about SEO and AI and podcasts. So I'm all about the automation. And indeed, I have a course called AI Automation, which has just started. We'll be running it again after Christmas. And the thing with the AI automation is that it's about looking at your processes and connecting all the different bits together. So one of the automations that I built on a platform called make.com was one where I said, right, as a marketer, I know that Google loves it when it gets long form content in text on your website that matches some of the video content that's on your YouTube channel. And if it sees that, that's like nirvana for Google, like it signals and so on, and it'll give you a little bit of a push and you get a higher ranking. So I thought, okay, I'm going to set up an automation that picks up every time we do a new video, like one of the snippets from the pod on YouTube. It takes it over into Perplexity, which summarizes it, transcribes it, and summarizes it, and then writes up a blog post and posts it on our website. So I've set up this automation and it takes 12 seconds to run. Wow. Right now, it's super cool. Now, the only problem is when we brought out the first episode, it was with Lolly Mancy. She's amazing, right? And then with the second episode out, and I was looking at our site and I was going back to the team and I was going, okay, who's putting out all the posts about Lolly and Claire? So we had about like 5 or 6 blog posts each on them. And I was like, guys, we just need one. Thanks a million. Who was it? And everyone's like, wasn't me. No, it wasn't me. And I was like, I know it must have been someone. And then I copped it. It was my own automation. I had it left it running, but I hadn't actually put the timer on it, which was just do one of these a week. Okay. So suddenly we were in abundance. So every time we did a podcast clip, my automation kicked in, wrote a long form blog post. And because we were doing 5 podcast clips a week, we were
it was giving you the 5 posts.
So you have to remember when you're doing your automations to be, set your timer. What I actually did was I adjusted that automation now, and now I have it so that whenever it's doing that, it sends me an email saying we've just posted this. So at least I'm a little bit more in control.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. I have to be honest, and I know I encourage and I have to practice what I preach, but I'm particularly bad about doing the long form in connection with the podcasts myself. So, as part of my studies with the AI Institute, and I have taken one marketing course for AI for marketers recently,
Yes.
and we're now doing the automation one. And
Yeah.
I'm learning how to do these things so I can be more efficient and also help others do likewise. And like it's all about learning and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And really, Maryrose, it's about being willing for it to go wrong, to give a
Yes.
go, really, isn't it?
Yes, we were doing the yesterday we had the automation session one was on, and so we demoed one, like demoing live. Demoing automations live, there's a certain kind of bravery that's required for that.
Mm-hmm.
And myself and co-creator Claire Dupre definitely have that. So Claire's one went well, and then I was demoing something else. It was to do with social media, and it didn't work. And I was like, "No, hang on, just one sec." And I was like going back to fix it, and I couldn't fix it. So I said, "Okay, I'll fix it. I'll send the blueprint out to you afterwards." But the point is that things do go wrong, and if we edited that bit out, that wouldn't be reality. Things go wrong. You tweak them, you get it right. And then when it's working right, you just let that baby roll, and then you
Yeah,
turn your attention to doing something else instead.
that's just it. And small steps, incremental steps. Don't let it run your
Yeah,
business for you,
yeah.
but maybe use it as a tool to make things more efficient and to get over the fear of starting a podcast in the first place.
But yeah, but even like down to when you say small steps, what I'm immediately I think in terms of automations now, I think even for you, if you were thinking about, what should be the catchy title or what should be my metadata, you can literally just set up a tiny little automation where it reads your transcript, it writes the metadata, it writes the title. You don't have to think. So you just
No
focus on being
way.
a better version of you. Do the human interviews bit, and then bring the stuff over and let it do it.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, listen, Maryrose Lyons of the AI Institute. Maryrose did mention that they run AI courses. So, how do we find out more about all? And I know I mentioned the marketing course, but you've a couple of different offerings.
We do. Well, starting at beginners, AI for beginners, that's for everyone who's a non-techie. And we've had such joyous experiences on that. We've had people who are retired. We've had people who are like, I don't use computers and I don't like them. And they're loving it at the end of it. We've got marketing, we've got automation, we've got a really cool AI for sales one, which I have to say, they found out yesterday, we're the number one ranked AI for sales course in Perplexity.
Oh, fantastic.
Don't ask me how we did that because we're still trying to work it out.
And if you don't know what perplexity is, in a nutshell, and in the course you'll learn properly how to more about it. But basically, it's the new version of Google's search engine back in the day. It's like it does what Google does, but better.
Oh yeah, it's like, and it's even evolved. It's like it's search, it's research, it's a collaboration tool, and it's basically where all the traffic is moving from Google. So there's a big mad race on amongst SEO people of how do we rank and how do we do this. So I'm on it. I just need to reverse engineer it and work out how we appeared there.
Well, sure, look, perhaps Maryrose, when you figure that one out, you can come back and educate the
Loved
rest of
it.
us.
Absolutely loved it.
How do we find out more about you and the AI Institute?
Well, you could look up me on LinkedIn. I'm Maryrose Lyons. You could look up the AI Institute, which is also on LinkedIn. We've got a website, instituteofaistudies.com. We're a little bit on Instagram, but it's all automated, scheduled stuff. But do hit me up on LinkedIn. And if you have listened to this and you followed me on LinkedIn, send me a connection request and tell me where you found me. And I'd love to have a chat with you.
Well, Maryrose Lyons, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on Cut Through the Noise. Thank you very much for your time. I hope our listeners found the conversation very helpful. And if you think you're very daunted about starting out in your podcasting journey, give me a call or email me on hello@thecommunicationscoach.ie. And if you want to learn more about using AI as part of this overall journey, or even to elevate your marketing, get in contact with Maryrose Lyons of the AI Institute. That is all we have time for on this week's episode of Cut Through the Noise. And remember, while content may well be king, clarity is key if you want to cut through the noise and stand out from the crowd. Have a great week.